Hi, Wonder Wives. I'm Nikki Friedman. Welcome back for day 23 of the Wonder Wife Workshop. Tonight, you guys are in for a treat. I'm finally going to talk about that taboo subject that everybody's been waiting for. So here we go. Tonight, we're going to speak about how to improve marital intimacy within our relationships. So I want to start with looking at the Jewish perspective, and then after that, we're going to look at just some general research that's been done and some practical takeaways for our own relationships. So, in terms of from a Jewish perspective, what exactly does Judaism think is the role of marital intimacy? So, some people have the misconception that they think, oh, it's all about just becoming pregnant and having children. But if you actually look in the halachos, if you look in the Jewish texts, in our oral law, in our written law, you see very clearly that yes, it is a positive commandment to be fruitful and multiply. In Hebrew, it's called pru urvu. But in addition to that, there is a commandment to just have physical marital intimacy between a husband and a wife for the sake of the pleasure itself, for the sake of the connection between the husband and the wife. And all the more so, there's actually a commandment to the husband, not to the wife, but to the husband to give his wife physical pleasure. It's stated explicitly in the marriage document, the Ketubah, which is the husband gives to the wife on their wedding day under the chuppah. So that's a little bit about the Jewish perspective, right? This isn't going to be a class about all of like the laws and the intricacies of family purity. If anyone is interested in that, you can feel free to reach out to me. I do teach kalas, young brides, all the halachos of that, and I'd be happy to share my knowledge on that with you in another context. But really, it's all about this connection of husband and wife. In Hebrew, the word is devek. We actually learn in the Torah, in the book of Breshis, it says that a man is supposed to leave his mother and is supposed to cling to his wife. The Hebrew word there is davak. In like general Hebrew now, in the Hebrew language, the word devek is glue. It's like he's supposed to be glued to his wife. So Rashi, one of our commentaries, explains, what does that mean, davak? So he says it means through pleasure, right? So through physical pleasure, a husband is cleaving to his wife. And that is really what the goal is. So that is the Jewish perspective. We see that it really takes a front seat and a priority in our lives and is so integral to the success of our marriages. So my suggestion would be, if this hasn't been made a priority, to really tune into this now and to start taking steps to make that positive change. So let's look at some general research together now. So there was a study done, a book put out called The Normal Bar, where a group of researchers wanted to know across the world, what is it that couples who have a healthy, positive sense of marital intimacy in their relationships, what do they all have in common? So they looked at 24 different countries spanning 70,000 people. It's astounding the amount of research that they gathered. And one of my favorites, as you all know, Dr. John Gottman, he did his own research also. He researched 3,000 couples, and he followed them longitudinally over a period of 4 decades to see how these couples fared. And Gottman, based on his research and based on the research done by the Normal Bar study, was able to conclude that these couples who claimed to have a positive sex life all had 13 things in common. So let's go through the list, okay? And you can choose to take them or leave them or tweak them, but I think it's worthwhile to just look at the research. So number 1, they say, I love you every day, and they mean it. Number 2, they kiss one another passionately for no reason. Number 3, they give surprise romantic gifts. Number 4, they know what turns their partners on and off in terms of physical pleasure. Number 5, they're physically affectionate, even in public. And I want to add a side note that it is so important for husband and wife to show physical affection in front of their children. And I'm not talking about in an inappropriate sense, but a hug, a kiss on the cheek. It is very damaging to children to never see their parents interact in a physical realm. Number 6, they keep playing and having fun together. Number 7, they cuddle. Number 8, They make marital relations a priority and not the last item of a long to-do list. Number 9, they stay good friends. Number 10, they can talk comfortably about their marital intimacy. Number 11, they have weekly dates. Number 12, they take romantic vacations. And number 13, they're mindful about turning towards, which is one of the tools that we have been discussing in the past few classes. So obviously this research is being done by participants who maybe aren't Jewish or religious on any level, and obviously everybody has different cultural norms depending on what country and depending on their local, surroundings and society. So yes, there may be cultural differences in terms of some of these things on this list that you may or may not be comfortable with. So that's why I premised it by saying, take it, leave it, tweak it, but I think it is worthwhile just to internalize some of the things on this list, and maybe for some of us they would be helpful tools to start integrating into our relationships with our husbands. On the flip side, there's also research that's been done by couples talking about what their bad sex lives look like. And those couples also had things in common. Note also, the couples in this next research study all had young children. Okay, so number 1, they spend very little time together during a typical week. Number 2, they become job-centered or child-centered, whether it's the husband or the wife. Number 3, they talk mostly about their huge to-do lists. Number 4, they seem to make everything else a priority other than their relationship. Number 5, they drift apart and lead parallel lives. And number 6, they're unintentional about turning toward one another. So for some of us, maybe some of those things on that list are looking familiar. So I want to just wrap it up with that and just say that, once again, no matter what things from this list maybe do or don't resonate from you, it's important to recognize that our physical relationships with our husbands really are a huge part of the backbone of our relationship. And so it's important to take some time to do some serious thinking, maybe have an open conversation with your spouse about what it is that his expectations are, your expectations are, what you both find to be, beneficial for you in terms of marital intimacy and pleasurable for you, and to be able to then hopefully take it to the next level and become closer through this beautiful, beautiful gift, really, that's a part of our Jewish tradition. Thanks so much.